All right, thanks for remaining with us. Now, the Nigerian government says it remains committed to catering for the needs of internally displaced persons in the country.
This development comes as the presidency revealed that more than 50 trucks in every 100 trucks of food sent to the northeast that to cater for those displaced by Boko Haram sect were diverted.
Yes, indeed. Now, but acting President Yemi Osinbajo has assured all stakeholders that the humanitarian aid process would remain transparent and the objectives fully actualized with the implementation of the special relief intervention. Now, an update report on the initiative says the delivery of assorted grains to internally displaced persons have commenced.
The new arrangement will also see 656 armed policemen involved in the movement of assorted grains from various reserves across the country to designated warehouses of the National Emergency Management Agency in the Northeast for onward distribution to beneficiaries to monitor distribution, while another 1,376 military personnel will escort the grains to some IDPs across the affected states of Borno, Adamawa, and Yobe. If we had 1 million, that would be the whole barracks.
Indeed. Now, with us in the studio is a retired colonel and security consultant, Hassan Stan Labo. And joining us via Skype from London is an African Affairs analyst, Jermaine Sonwo-Olu. Good morning and thanks for joining us, gentlemen.
Thanks.
We're talking security and my mind is on overdrive. There's so much insecurity going on, of course, with the latest development in London. Hopefully, we'll be able to talk about that. But let's deal with this, the IDP food diverted. Is this what government should have done in the first place? Providing security, escorting trucks and all of that, instead of allowing this to happen in the first place. Half of the food meant for IDPs diverted.
It's shocking to me to be made to understand that food was moving in transit without security escorts. If that was the situation, then it's unfortunate. More so in an environment like ours, where we know corruption is at its peak. Okay? So if that was the situation, it's rather unfortunate. I'm impressed with maybe the step government is maybe taking now to ensure that these things, or these humanitarian items, are being escorted.
But are you saying you're hearing that for the first time? Are you hearing this for the first time?
That
they divert food and
no,
a lot of nefarious activities go on there.
I have been hearing about the issue of diversion, but all along, I have been of the impression that these humanitarian items, including the food, we are being escorted, and that's why I have always said, if there was any diversion, it's easy to trace who were those moving this food, who were those that provided the escort, and so on. These were not ghosts. We should be able to pick them out, and some sanctions, you know, will be spelled out upon them. Or are there also money bags who will bribe their way through the judiciary, and then the next one here is discharged and acquitted?
Okay.
Good, very good question there. Jermaine Sonwo-Olu, I wonder how shocking this comes to you, this revelation of diversion of half, that's 50% of food meant for IDPs in the Northeast, ended up only being diverted. What could government have done really to prevent this kind of situation in the first place? Jermaine?
Well, thanks a lot for having me this morning. And as you said, it's a very shocking. Good morning.
Unfortunately, we seem to have a little challenge with the audio there from Jermaine, who's joining us via Skype from London.
Hello.
Okay, Jermaine, I don't know if you heard my question, but...
yes, I did.
You did? Okay, go ahead with your response, please.
Well, thanks a lot for having me this morning. Well, this is a very, very shocking situation that is going on in the Northeast in Nigeria. Yes, we must commend the President and this present administration for initiating the presidential initiative on the Northeast to try and ameliorate some of the suffering that is experienced by many people who were affected by the Boko Haram atrocities and rage that they actually had in that part of the country. Now, one expects that people who are meant to be caring for people who have been internally displaced because of these activities will actually be empathic and will have some conscience within themselves to be able to take care of their needs. But what we see right now is one of the highest levels of corruption in Nigeria that has been revealed by this administration. This is not just corruption regarding money, but corruption that is affecting people who are suffering. We heard about the situation through the secretary to the government of the Federation, suspended now, Babache Lawal, who was allegedly implicated by the Senate for the misappropriation of funds and breaching of the Public Procurement Act, which was close to in the tune of up to 400 million naira, 220 million for his own company, Rollard Vision, and also Josh Moore's Technology that collected money and now transferred it to account in some matter of days. You will see that there's corruption from the top and it's now going on the grassroots, on the bottom. Food that is meant to be given to people to eat, to survive, is now being diverted to personal use, and I'm sure it's being sold in the market. We must know that the ground men taking action will not do anything without the direction from the guys on the top. Yes. So there must be an investigation from the top to the bottom, and they must clear this system. And I must commend acting President Professor Shibajo for doing an excellent work in actually trying to fight this corruption. All right,
Jameh, but the acting president hasn't done anything specifically different, because the same actors were the same one accused for diverting this food or molesting even the IDP campers.
The NEMA is still involved.
The NEMA is involved, the police is involved, the soldiers are also involved. So what has it done differently, really?
Well, as you mentioned earlier, it's the deployment of over 2,000 security personnel to be guiding these grains in the right direction. And is now for once coming out to the open and exposing the atrocities going on here. Before, as the military personnel said in the studio, said he has heard about it maybe by the bylines or so, but now it is now being brought to the forefront. The presidency is now saying that we are aware of this and we are going to tackle this. Before, it was just kept on a low-key level. I believe the vice president wants to see transparency. He's calling for accountability. He's ensuring that people are held responsible for the action. And one thing that he must do right now is to persecute those people who have been caught siphoning almost half of the resources to private hands. That's what they must do right now. So he's done a little, but that little is the first step in the right direction, in my opinion.
Okay, let's bring it back to Hassan Stanlabo. Now, how sustainable is this escorting of supplies to the IDPs? Don't you think government, yes, the acting president has assured transparency and all of that, shouldn't there be more sustainable strategies put in place to actually prevent this from happening going forward, other than just escorting these supplies?
Well, let me say yes. It's possible for us to maybe straighten out the entire process. For instance, I'm being made to understand only this morning when I spoke with a few contacts out there in the field that actually NEMA and SEMA warehouses, which are of course located outside the IDP camps,
yes,
are not protected by military security. But these food items are escorted to these warehouses, from where now NEMA and SEMA take charge in their distribution to the IDP camps. I want to believe the proximity to the camp is very short.
Of course, NEMA is the emergency...
National, and then SEMA is the state.
Yes, the state.
Thank you. What I found, to me, to be wrong there is that the military or the police or whatever, or for short, there should have been some form of protection or security provisions at both the NEMA and SEMA warehouses. Not until these food items get to the end users, we should have security going along with them at all points. Because the point I've been trying to bring out is, at what point did we cease to have security cover which allowed for diversions? There must be, we must look for that where the chain actually got broken and gave room for somebody to divert. Otherwise, there will be no diversion. Because I will serve as a check on you, you will serve as a check on me.
Okay.
That balancing would be there. Yeah. But when I got to know about that, I said, then no wonder.
All right, Jermaine, let's take it now to the domain of the people. There are also reports that even the IDP campers themselves sometimes smuggle food out of the camp to sell. So how do you help them?
Well, that is also another sad situation too that we've heard about in the IDP camp. But the reality now is that there has to be a holistic supply chain management procedure that must be put in place to ensure that from the deployment of these resources to the arrival at the end user, there must be transparency throughout. Now, more than just security personnel guarding these trucks, over 1,000 leaving, you understand, there must also be a change in attitude. That corruption mentality must be driven away from that whole process. Because who is saying that some of these security personnel, God forbid, will now be trying to be influenced to also divert these things? Because we have seen situations like that with the case of the police and all that. So we have to ensure that there's a change in mindset. Apart from having security guarding it, corruption must be removed from even the security personnel and even everyone on ground. Those people that are serving the food and those people who are given the opportunity to be able to distribute the food and the grains to the people. And they must ensure that none of these grains are sold in the black market in the surrounding areas. This is not just a failure in terms of security, but it also exposes the broader level of corruption. It has to be ensured that everybody that needs the help is actually gotten to them. They can receive the food they need, they can get the right rations, and when you look at the grains, they actually weighed and the right amount of rations is actually delivered, not what is sent at maybe like 50 tons and they now get 20 tons and they will say it has been delivered. Everything must be scrutinized and they must have people that are going to investigate it all throughout the way on the supply chain.
All right. Thank you so much, Jermaine. Just hold on for us as I bring this to Hassan Labo. Now, the government is talking about special relief intervention. Of course, the one that was launched June the 8th in Maiduguri, and has said along with this intervention is some kind of empowerment plan that will help this IDPs. Do you think this is a step in the right direction?
Yes, it's something which I would say resonates with me comfortably, okay? When you look at all the level of, do I say miserability that has been visited on the IDPs, you would agree with me that some of them will be leaving the camps completely with nothing to fall back to. Completely. Your houses have been razed down. You don't even know where your kids are. They are so devastated. Government must come in to see how they can be assisted to pick up life again. Otherwise,
it will be a vicious cycle.
Thank you. You are building up armed robbers, you are building up harlots, and so on. So we must do something. That is where I appreciate what the government is doing. It's just like what Lagos State government, I guess, is trying to do in Ikorodu, and so on, you know, see how some level of what do I call it?
Training, skill,
yes, can be brought in. And that is the next point I want to make. Some level of skill training should be also introduced into the entire package, all right? We could still get some of these IDPs and avail them with some good skill training.
I believe that's what this empowerment strategy is all about.
Say again, my dear.
I believe that's what the empowerment strategy is about.
I want to believe it's all part of the package. You know, I want to believe that package is quite robust to be able to take care of the IDP situations.
All right,
otherwise, sincerely, the North will be in trouble.
Okay. Jermaine, you're aware that Nigeria has the highest out-of-school children as we speak, over 10 million children out of school. No thanks to the insurgency and those who are at the IDP camp. Now, we are planning to get them back to their society, get them back to their homes. What can we do to help these children?
Great. Thank you very much for that question. I believe youth empowerment is something that has been on the forefront of this administration, but has also been a great problem when it comes to the Nigerian setting. Most of our population, over 60%, are youth. And all this, as you said, 10 million young people who are out of school right now. It shows potential crisis that could be brewing, because this is the generation of people who are going to be uneducated and unskilled to enter the workforce, which will lead to a lot of problems in the future. Right now, the empowerment program that the government has actually set in place is actually a good initiative. It's going to be empowering people with skills and all that. But apart from just that empowerment process, what is the timeline of people from entry to exit in the IDP camps? What is the plan? Are they just going to be staying there indefinitely, or they have a plan to reallocate, to relocate them and also house them? What developments are being made? What structures are being built in the northeast area that were devastated by Boko Haram insurgency then? Are they building houses for these people to move into? Or they're just leaving them there and trying to empower them? They said that if you give a man a fish, you will feed him for one day. But if you teach him how to fish, you can empower him and his whole community for a lifetime. So it's good to supply grains to them right now, but the empowerment must just leave giving them skills on how to sew, how to do soap making, how to do all this kind of petty trading skills to actually ensuring that they actually located to the real market system whereby they can work, live and so outside the IDP. That will be true.
All right, Jermaine, let's put you on hold. Don't run along just yet. Just remain with us. Very shortly, we'll bring you the news update. Hassan Stanlabo, retired colonel of the Nigerian Army, thank you so much. It's always a delight having you here. Of course, the UN report says that some 400,000 children could suffer malnutrition and all of that if something drastic is not done very quickly. We'll have to leave it there.
Oh, just very shortly.
Yes.
Frankly speaking, we don't have to depend on government for everything.
Okay.
There are wealthy ones up north there who could adopt some of these children on the street.
That's a good one.
Okay.
All right.
We have wealthy Nigerians who could adopt one or two.
Would you want to adopt one, Colonel?
Why not?
Great.
Why
Okay,
not?
so we'll leave it there.
I'm thinking about setting up a foundation in that direction.
Awesome. Awesome. It's good to hear that from you. Hassan Stanlabo, thank you so much.